The white swans of Hamburg spread their wings and head for the River Alster. A baby polar bear takes her first tentative steps in public in Germany. A male snow leopard has arrived at the Buenos Aires Zoo. The population of green sea turtles continues to plummet, and the deadly soldier ant. All that and more coming up in Animalia. These white swans in the German port city of Hamburg enjoy a very special status. They're not only protected, they also have their very own keeper, who each year guides the graceful birds out of their winter quarters into the open waters of the River Alster. It's a spectacular sight and always a popular occasion for the city's younger population, who would rarely see such numbers of swans grouped together in one place. Of course, their parents are also fascinated by this annual pilgrimage, and the birds seem to lap up the attention. Moving his boat so as not to alarm his white charges, keeper Olaf Nies sets into motion the operation to move the swans to the river from their winter quarters. And here they come. In the bright sunshine, onlookers took up vantage points along the banks of the river to watch as more than 120 birds were guided away from their cages into the open waters of the River Alster. The swans on the Alster have had their place in Hamburg for centuries. In 1664, the city council gave the swans special protection. Since then, it's been forbidden to injure or kill the birds. In 1818, the swans got their own keeper, paid for by the city, whose main duty it is to feed them, treat their injuries, and take them to and from their winter quarters. Olaf Nies, who successfully conducted the operation, was proud of his feathered friends, who, he said, cooperated perfectly and caused no problems. Elsewhere in Hamburg, a baby polar bear has taken her first shy steps in public. Victoria, who was born in Hamburg Zoo, was initially kept out of the public eye. But eventually, she made her first tentative steps in the open-air pen, much to the delight of school children and other visitors. But her first foray into the daylight was limited to playing with her mother behind a huge rock in the pen, where she was extremely reticent to leave her mother's side. The baby bear is about the size of a German shepherd dog and weighs around 15 kilograms. But what is now just a cute little ball of white fur will soon grow into a massive animal. Adult polar bears can grow to be up to 3 meters long. Zoo officials say they're doing their best to simulate conditions to that of a polar bear's natural habitat. The baby bear was born in a cave, and they hope this will allow Victoria to develop as normally as she would if she was out in the wild. I wonder if Mama Bear agrees. But it's a lack of maternal love that concerns the carers at the Jaldapara Rescue Centre in the West Bengal region of India. Here, young leopard cubs are receiving extra special care before they're released into the wild. Most of these cubs have been separated from their mothers and have had trouble adjusting to life in the forest environment. At the rescue centre, the young leopards are trained to be reintroduced to their natural habitat. Most of the cubs brought to the centre are newborns, found by villagers working in the surrounding tea gardens. One of the most important lessons for the cubs is teaching them to hunt. It can be a slow process. Initially, the staff at the rescue centre begin by feeding the cubs milk. Then, gradually, they're introduced to meat. The centre has been reasonably successful with its rehabilitation program, but there are leopards that return to the sanctuary for food rather than staying out in the jungle to hunt their own. But no jungle for this leopard, who's found himself in Argentina. For the first time ever, a rare snow leopard has taken up residence at the Buenos Aires Zoo. He's there as part of a permanent exchange program with the Canadian Zoo. The snow leopard, which is in danger of extinction, is the only one in South America. According to zoo officials, after the male leopard has had a few months to adapt to his new home, a female will be brought to the zoo to mate with the male. The ultimate aim of the program is to preserve the species and begin to interchange examples among different zoos, so as not to mix blood within the zoos. Snow leopards have been categorized as an endangered species by the World Conservation Union since 1972. They're protected by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, according to the International Snow Leopard Trust. The lifespan of a snow leopard in the wild is estimated to be 10 to 12 years. But according to the Trust, along with natural dangers, the animal faces serious threats brought on by humans such as poaching, loss of prey and loss of habitat. An estimated 3,500 to 7,000 remain in the wild, while some 600 to 700 live in zoos around the world. The leopards live in the mountains of Central Asia in countries such as Afghanistan, China, India, Nepal, Pakistan and Russia. The US Navy is training mine-hunting dolphins to root out underwater bombs in southern Iraqi ports to clear a path for delivery of humanitarian aid. There are currently 9 such dolphins in the region, specially trained to use their natural sonar to root out the deadly underwater bombs. 5 of these are being trained in Camp Patriot in southern Iraq. Dolphins are playful and can quickly learn tricks, but it's what comes naturally that makes them so valuable to the Navy. Dolphins come equipped with exceptional hearing and well-defined sonar capabilities. Trainers say they can determine different densities and perhaps different materials. This natural instinct protects dolphins in murky water and can be an effective mine finder. And the trainers say the dolphins enjoy the work they're doing because it's like playtime for them. But is it dangerous for these marine minesweepers? Well, according to the soldiers, the work is no more dangerous than it is for the soldiers themselves. Because they're working alongside the dolphins, the trainers are not going to put them intentionally in any harm's way. Trainers say some dolphins can learn up to 50 behaviors, and that in almost all cases, these tricks are actually extensions of natural activities. So far, the dolphins are getting rave reviews. Divers have been clearing mines from the waters in southern Iraq to clear a path for humanitarian aid. So far, they've largely cleared a 365-metre wide path along the 65-kilometre-long channel from the Persian Gulf to the strategic southern port of Qasr. Although supplies are now getting through, naval officers have admitted that navigating the surrounding waterways was still too dangerous to allow regular aid convoys. Qasr is Iraq's only deep-water port, and coalition forces hope to make it the centre for distributing humanitarian relief. The standard shipment would include 100 tonnes of water and 150 tonnes of rice, lentils, cooking oil, tomato paste, chickpeas, sugar, powdered milk and tea. but military sources say it will be some time before all mines have been cleared from the area. Just born, this baby camel is still finding its feet. In the first hour of life, it will learn to stand, and then it will take a long drink of milk from its mother. It's little surprise that camel milk seems to be the drink of choice for nursing Bactrians. The young calves live off their mother's protein-loaded milk for 5 years during their entire period of growth and until they become a fully matured camel. Nomadic tribes along the Kazakh-Chinese border have milked camels for centuries. But now a group of Kazakh farmers and entrepreneurs are working to turn this desert tradition into a commercial drink. The Agro-Merca farms have been feeding up and milking down camels for over 6 years. This particular herd of 600 two-humped milk-giving Bactrian camels now produces about 1,500 litres per day. Farm director Yesingali Baymanov opened his farm in 1996 at a time when traditional camel milk herders were going out of business and selling off their camels for meat. Now Baymanov owns over 3,000 head of camel and says he's looking beyond the local markets and toward international sales. He says that what his company has done is unique. The farm owner claims to have proposals from possible clients in Switzerland and other European countries as well as Moscow. And by the look of the plush surroundings of his office, who can argue with that? Kazakh producers sell camel milk in bottles so that it can be drunk straight, just like cow or goat milk. But if that seems too bland, there's always strawberry-flavoured camel yogurt to try as well. Rather than shying away from the perhaps too exotic image of camel milk, Kazakh producers are trying to use its Central Asian identity as part of its appeal. At Almaty's Kazakh All restaurant, fermented camel milk is served to groups of foreign tourists in traditional dishes and under traditional nomadic tents. And if none of these marketing techniques work, the producers can always fall back on the same arguments used for garlic, Brussels sprouts and buckwheat grass. It's good for you. The president of Kazakhstan's Academy of Nutrition says that shubat, the fermented camel milk, can be particularly healthy. He claims that shubat has twice as many vitamins B1 and B2 than original camel milk. Shubat's health appeal accounts for much of its sales within the domestic market, though it does have a small amount of alcohol, about 1.5% on average. It's also served up at state children's camps. The immediate future of Kazakh producers may depend on whether or not this generation of children decides to keep drinking shubat after it leaves summer camp. Further down the track, most producers are hoping to expand into international markets. But for now at least, the camel herds that used to dominate the steppes of Kazakhstan are gradually returning as the camel milk business grows as well. Let's hope the humpback milk machines can survive the rigors of the highway and carry the dreams of Kazakh producers into prosperity. A new campaign has been launched in Bangkok, hoping to throw a lifeline to the city's sick dogs. A local organisation has begun a search for jumbo-sized pooches to contribute to a much-needed blood bank. Despite the fact that Bangkok is a city famous for its abundance of street dogs, local animal hospitals have found it almost impossible to find suitable blood donors. As a result, many dogs have been dying on surgery tables simply because of empty blood banks. In order to qualify for a donation, a dog must weigh over 30 kilograms, rare for Thailand's local breeds. It must also be under 5 years old and in perfect health. A local organisation has risen to the challenge and launched a campaign to encourage owners of large breeds to bring them forward as donors. Chainan Porkatong, head of the dog lovers group which is organising the campaign, owns a local dog shelter, but said that the only dogs that qualify are his 10 St Bernards. Realising the problems faced by animal hospitals in need of blood, Chainan decided to set up a campaign offering a pick-up and delivery service to owners willing to let their dogs become donors. But it's not been easy. Despite good support for the scheme, about 70% of the donor dogs don't meet the blood bank standards. At Bangkok's veterinary teaching hospital, blood banks are still more than half empty, while its surgeries are full of dogs needing treatment. But Chainan is confident that the campaign will be a success in the long run. Since its launch, over 100 suitable donors have been found, but he hopes that in the future that number will at least double. And with the commitment and dedication of Chainan and his team, plus the support of dog lovers in Thailand, life may become a little better for dogs on the streets of Bangkok. Just off Nicaragua's Atlantic coast, beneath the tranquil ocean waters, endangered sea turtles struggle for life. The enemy? Poverty-stricken fishermen desperate for food. Although the animal is nearing extinction, harvesting green sea turtles for their inexpensive yet sweet meat has become an industry among poor Nicaraguan fishermen living at bluefields on the country's eastern shore. Experts estimate that close to 11,000 green sea turtles on the Nicaraguan coast are killed each year. According to the Office of Protected Resources of the Washington, D.C.-based National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, known as the NOAA, the total population estimates for the green turtle are unavailable. However, the research organisation's website reported that the green sea turtle was listed as endangered as early as July 1978. The greatest cause for decline in green turtle population is commercial harvesting for eggs and food, according to the NOAA. However, the reality is that local fishermen are more concerned with the welfare of their families. They say that if they don't capture the animal, their children will die of hunger, and they're prepared to travel 200 kilometres to find a market for the turtle meat. Turtle meat, they say, is by far the least expensive source of protein and nutrients in the region. The Nicaraguan government instituted a ban on turtle harvesting early in 2003, but according to government officials, monitoring the hunters is difficult. The National Police recently conducted raids in bluefields where they turned up the carcasses of at least 120 green turtles that had been illegally hunted. However, the work of the authorities is hampered to some extent because the exact legal situation is unclear. They say that the turtle hunting, although illegal, doesn't have a criminal classification. In the United States or Costa Rica, the killing of the turtle would be classed as an environmental crime, with prison sentences of up to 3 months a possible result. The classification of environmental crime does exist on the statute books in Nicaragua, but these are more oriented toward health. The average green sea turtle weighs some 300 pounds, and according to the Miami-based Sea Turtle Survival League, the earliest known sea turtle fossils are about 150 million years old. They generally live near coastlines, around islands, in bays, and near protected shores, but rarely are they seen in the open ocean. quiet day in Bastar, a village in India's eastern Chhattisgarh state. Perhaps a day to go hunting in the forest for some delicacy for the dining table. However, in this region, it's not uncommon to stumble upon a column of soldier ants on the march, and for most people, that would be a cause for some considerable alarm. But not so for the tribes of Bastar. Their eyes widen in anticipation of a hearty meal. The people here catch the ants, mainly found on trees, and eat them along with their eggs. Unbelievable, but true. Members of the Munda tribe relish eating the ants live or roasted, and they'll go to any lengths to capture the little gourmet treats. Hunting for the nests of soldier ants is a favourite pastime for youngsters who scout dense forests for ants of better quality. Haw, as the ants are called in the local dialect, are eaten by everyone, toddlers included. The ants are sometimes roasted along with their eggs, and the village elders say it improves the digestive system. Long-held traditions govern the preparation of the ants for a unique dining experience. Many members of the Munda tribe will tell you that eating ants is a cure for a sore throat. And perhaps a bottle of the local brew to wash the ants down helps as well. Some shops in a nearby village even stock soldier ants, and they're very much in demand. Maybe a feast of soldier ants is not for everybody, but it's all part of the local culture in India, which is home to thousands of tribal sects. The population of these sects is estimated to be 7% of the 1 billion population in that country. That's Animalia, and we look forward to seeing you for the next edition. Bye for now.